What's going on, guys? Got a little indoor project going on with this coronavirus. They got a lot of the lakes shut down in Illinois. Plus the weather's been horrible. It's like 42 degrees outside, raining, just cold and damp. And my wife says her car won't start, so I'm gonna have to replace the batteries. But I got this video for you. I think you'll be interested in it. This is me, Matt, and Mike just sitting around talking. This is the night before the Lake of the Ozarks BFL. And Greg and Bruno were involved in the conversation right before I actually videoed this, but it was really loud. The TV was going and the music was going. So once Greg went to bed and Bruno took off, he was fishing the tournament. They're both actually fishing the tournament as well. It got a little bit quieter, and I just set the camera up. So I think you're gonna like this. It's a little bit long, so maybe watch a little bit of it and then come back to it later if it's too much for you, but it flows pretty good. And we're all just talking about fishing stories, tournament stories, Kentucky Lake, Old Hickory. We got Dardanelle, Lake of the Ozarks, Beaver Lake, Table Rock, just a bunch of different destinations and just stories about these trips. And there's actually some tips kind of finagled in, kind of slipped in the middle of all this commentary stuff. So you can, not only is it entertaining, it's actually pretty informative too. There's some pretty good stuff in there. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Please subscribe if you have not and share it on your social media, Facebook and all that. Let's get to the video.
A couple times with just 2 fish.
Yeah.
Well, it was a 3 fish limit.
Yeah.
It's 2 big ones. Yeah.
I had the only tournament I've ever won was in the LBL division on Kentucky Lake, and I had 4 fish that were like almost 17 pounds.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so you never know. I mean, my boater he caught 6 keepers. He got second. He had like 22 pounds. And we were catching them on a half-ounce spinnerbait, a booyah spinnerbait with the painted blades. It had like the chartreuse blade and the white blade. And we were fishing along this riprap levee. And there was a break in the levee. And these fish, he had fished that place Thursday and not got a single bite.
So it was a break in the levee. There was current coming through that.
Yeah, and basically it was a river. Well, it was a creek. It was a big creek, and then you got towards the back of it, and there was this levee that went all the way across it, and there was a void in it, and then it opened up to like a big spawning area back there. I mean, it was huge. It was probably another, I don't know, 700-800 acres.
Oh, wow.
But he knew that it was a spot where the fish were coming to. They just hadn't got there yet, and he fished it hard on Thursday and not got a single bite, and we caught like almost 40 pounds.
Oh,
just
wow.
200-yard stretch. We went back and forth on it. It's just crazy. And I broke that spinnerbait off. It's the last one I had, and he already had his 22 pounds or whatever, and he gives me his rod. I only had 3 fish at that time.
Yeah.
He gives me his rod, and we only got about 30 minutes left before we have to make a run. It was probably about a 40-minute run.
Yeah.
We're going around the point of this wall, and I make a couple casts with that spinnerbait, and it's kind of, you know how it is when you're running out of time, you're really wanting to make something happen, you're stressed out, you know it's going to be like, okay, one more cast, and here we go.
It's even worse when it's cold out like now, because you can't, if you rush, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You can't do this.
Yeah.
But when the water's warm, you can make a million casts. But
and I caught that last fish, it was probably a good 4.5 pounder, and man, it was exciting. I almost lost it. I got down on my knees and I was like, wow, thank you so much for handing me that rod. Because I was done. I broke my last one off.
Yeah.
He's like, here, get you one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's when you have a good boater.
He was a really good boater. He was hardy.
I drew this guy out of, he was from Ohio on Kentucky Lake. And he took me the windy way down Kentucky Lake, following those buoys, and I was scared to death.
The secondary channel?
Yeah. And he was running.
Be spooked.
Oh, man. Kentucky Lake's scary.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we fished all day, and he had one, and I had one. And he's like, all right, we got about 5 minutes. He said, I'm going to pee, and then we'll batten down the hatch, And so he's sitting on the front of the boat, and I'm throwing square bill, and I come across a stump, 4-pounder. And I was like, Nat, and he's like, man, you got it yourself. I'm done. Yeah, that's right. And so, and I swung it in. It was probably the dumbest thing I ever did, but it was the second day, and
No, that's not the dumbest thing.
Yeah, but I did get it in. But he was really a neat guy because he'd fished there a lot. He'd fished a ton on Kentucky. That's what I like about
Kentucky Lake's crazy, man.
Oh yeah.
I was marshalling there at the with Kota Kiriyama. I drew him out on the first day, and in the first 52 casts, because I was just, you're marshalling, you're just sitting there watching. He caught 48 bass.
Oh my
He already
goodness.
had his limit and was culling as people were still running out.
Oh my god.
Where were you at? Were you down by Paris?
Yeah, down by Paris.
Did you put in at Paris?
I don't think it might have been. It might have been. Is that Mid Lake, Paris?
No, Paris is way
It was
south.
Mid Lake. We put it at Mid Lake and we ran towards Paris.
Yeah.
It's
And-
probably Moors. You probably put it into Moors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was right when you came out. There was a bridge there. I know you went right under a bridge.
That's Kin
Yeah.
Lake.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It was a
That's
big marina.
68
You came out.
bridge.
There was a big marina at a bridge. Like
Yeah.
first thing you did was come out. And
Yeah, so
whatever.
Paris is quite a bit further
Yeah.
south than that.
Yeah.
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 But we ran maybe 15, 20 minutes down the lake, and he was just fishing the ledge there, and
Oh.
just on a jackal crankbait, just smacking one
Oh,
of
man.
and he was getting a bite on every cast. Like I said, 48 fish on 52 casts.
Man.
That's about as fast as you can take them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
crazy.
goodness,
It was
yeah.
crazy. And that's just how good some of those. I mean,
Yeah. Every time I've been to Kentucky, it's been fall and things were transitioning. Never was hot.
It's tough in the fall.
Yeah, it never was hot. So we were really struggling down there. But I'd like to go back in the spring or something that's really good. But I don't think it's quite as
I
good now.
don't think it's as good as it was.
I don't think it is
you know.
either, based on what I
The
hear.
last
Right.
3 years have been tough.
We're close to here. I'd rather go here.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I like the Ozarks.
There's more 5-pound bass in this lake than
Yes.
just about
When you see the
anywhere.
big bass bash and it takes a 5-pounder every hour to
Yeah,
get it checked.
it's impressive.
You couldn't. That's unreal, man. So we fished Table Rock. 3-pounders getting checks every hour around there, and I'm fishing it again here in a couple of weeks.
So
Yeah.
is that by the same company? It's the same.
No, it's not. It's not.
No, it's not. This
This
is
is-
Oakley.
Oakley.
This is Oakley, and I think Bass Pro puts it on because
Yeah, Bass Pro and Oakley. Yeah,
'cause
Kevin Van Dam.
Kevin Van Dam, yeah.
Yeah.
So our buddy won it last year. He had a 9-pounder on Table Rock.
Much like the
Nine
Toyota
oh four.
tournament, it's
Wow.
well
It was
run.
awesome.
It's really cool, right?
And
it's well
it's
run.
wonderful.
Very
yeah.
professional.
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, you go into William Fish, they got barbecue sandwiches, and they're like, okay, how much is nothing?
Yeah, it's a lot like the Toyota Owners Tournament.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, it's
Top notch.
top notch.
Johnny Morris
Beautiful.
rolls it out.
You bet. So he catches a 904 and weighs that one in when he had a 6-pounder about 2 minutes later off the same spot. And so he wins both hours of the boat. And so he weighs that one in, and they're doing the lie detector for him. And then he's like, hey, I got to get this other fish in the next hour. And so he had a 6.6. He said I caught him within 5 minutes of each.
Wow.
So he's got an actual very similar to yours, even color-wise. It isn't too far off. Gray with a little red, though. His was red. But good guy, too. Couldn't ask for a better guy to win.
Yeah, that whole thing's put on like by it's like Oakley and Bass Pro and
Once I was talking to Stacy King, and I said, hey, you going to come over? Because him and Kevin are good buddies. 'Cause
Right.
he's always there. And Stacy said, nah, I can't go over there. I'm not sponsored by Oakley. I've got a different sponsor, so he couldn't really hang out there. But, I don't think good.
Well, they have the Sealy Outdoors does some of those down like a Lake Fork. That's another big bass
Yeah.
bash down there.
Yeah.
The guy I
Yeah.
work with's been down there
My
multiple
brother's
times.
done one down there. Like,
the one here just is ridiculous how many people
Oh,
they get.
yeah.
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 Like, well, and I usually have done this one, but it
It's
does.
so
It takes a
much fun.
5-pounder. To
So much fun.
20
It's my
places.
favorite tournament. It
Yeah,
really
to
is.
20 places. It takes a 5-pounder to win every hour, and it's not every 2 hours. It's every hour. So it takes a 5-pounder to win.
You're just fishing for a bite. That's
Yeah.
what I like about it.
Oh.
One bite. One bite. That's all you're
Be
fishing
right,
for.
right.
It's so much fun. And what's funny about it is every year that I've done it, it's like, why don't I fish tournaments like this? Because I just caught a shit ton of 3-pounders.
Right. Oh yeah. Well,
I didn't catch any really big ones, but I caught a nice limited 3-pounders. You
so
know?
a couple of years ago, we fished right on Hurricane Deck. We went up above Hurricane Deck, and we probably had 40 3-pounders. They moved up big time, and there were beds. We could see them, and we caught, but they weren't getting us any checks. We had a great day.
Right.
And we were flipping, big brush hogs up around docks and the flats in the back of the pockets. You could see them eat it, and man, it was fun.
Mm.
I mean, it was fun, but didn't get us any money. But man, we had a great day.
Yeah.
So he just got a new boat, and we're like, oh, okay, this is a great way to break in a new boat. So
What'd you fish at Kentucky Lake? What division was that?
that was the Bass Regional. It's a BAS, as we consider it a regional.
Okay.
That's what you were doing.
Yeah, I was down there.
I did it a couple times.
I drew a guy in a fishing ski.
Oh my. Well, I drew George Slava. I don't know if you know him. He's a local guy.
Yeah.
So we ran from way up in the dam area, clear down past Blood River. I can't remember the creek we were in. Though it was an hour, and had a couple fish apiece, but neither one of us did any good. And the next day, I drew that guy from Ohio that really knew the lake well. But you'd be running wide open, and you see the bridge up there, and say, about 5 minutes we'll be there, and you run for 15 minutes, and man, about another 5 minutes we'll be there.
Yeah.
And it's just huge. It's just a monster.
And it can get so rough.
Yeah, and luckily that didn't happen while I was down there. But crappie beds, those stick beds that they
Steak beds, yeah.
Steak beds, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was kind of neat. I never seen that. I thought.
Have you ever been there when it's super rough?
Oh yeah.
Like 8
It's
footers?
been scary.
No, I'm not.
The Ken Lake area where you're talking about that tournament put in, that's something about the bridge funneling down and the way the wind hits that when it's a north or south wind.
Yeah, it's against the current. It's just
and it doesn't roll. The waves are real unpredictable.
Yeah.
It's
It
scary.
churns a little.
Yeah, I was doing that elite series, and I was marshalling with Kevin Short, and it was impressed. I was so impressed at his boat driving ability, man. He would just get up and surf them big waves and look, stay up on top to look and see if anybody was in there, and just drive through and go to the next one and
Oh
look.
man.
Wow.
I mean, they were
Yeah,
huge. And it was impressive, man. It was
Got a
impressive.
lot of hours behind them.
Yeah.
Oh
Steering
goodness,
wheel.
yeah. Those guys are just as comfortable behind the boat as they are a car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know those up there, in the Great Lakes, they have those big, huge waves, but they're more like swellers, they're
Right.
bigger.
Ocean swells.
Yeah, and they'll just kind of ride down the center of
Yeah,
them. Kind of.
that wind blowing against the current and that shallow water and those waves at
Yeah.
Kentucky Lake just grow so huge.
The scary part to me, man, you be in Kentucky Lake and you're in 28 foot of water and
And then
you
you're
go
at 0.
2 feet over that way and it's a foot.
Mhm.
And conk.
Yeah. Talking to a guy who grew up fishing the Mississippi River. It's
Especially at winter pool. When it's like
Because it was
every
time I've been out,
354. That's
Yeah,
very,
scary.
very scary.
yeah.
And there's a lot of big stumps out there too. I'm talking like
Oh,
big
yeah.
stumps.
and not far off the channel.
Right.
No, not
Right
at all.
off the channel.
Not at
Right
all.
off the channel. Pickwick, or not Pickwick, we went to another one in Nashville. What was the
Old Hickory.
Old Hickory?
Yeah.
It was similar.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little scary
It was
that way.
spooky, yeah.
Yeah, but
I fished in the elite series there. I was actually as a co-angler. Yeah, that was good times.
yeah, I liked Old Hickory. That was kind
It
of
was cool.
Yeah,
Kind of reminded me. I mean, there's a lot of houses and docks, and you could fish docks.
definitely
everywhere.
river. I mean, definitely
Oh, if
river.
you went up the river,
Yeah, way just river crazy.
and vegetation. I didn't expect that at all.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Was it mainly power fishing deal?
You know,
Crankbaits, spinnerbaits, buzzbaits? or-
When I was there, it was pitching a tube because I was with Danny Brower. So
well,
pitching a
I was
tube.
flipping
Oh,
a
that's
brush hog,
interesting.
baby brush hog is what I was doing.
Okay.
Flipping a brush hog, and wind came up. We were in in a narrow creek. Wind came up big, and we heard crack, crack, crack. And this treetop come down and falls right, and just a little bit of the limbs caught the front of the boat. And
You know, that's the cool
all
part.
right,
about-
we gotta get out of here.
That's the cool part about fishing and hunting or whatever is like seeing stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've been at Table Rock before and seen a big rock cut loose and come rolling
Oh,
down,
really?
drop off into the lake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So, but yeah, Old Hickory was really a neat place. I'd like to go back there.
Johnny Cash's house is on.
Well,
yeah.
we saw we fished right there where it had burned,
yeah.
and the concrete was still there. And so the
Yeah.
guy that was with me, he said, "Hey, this is where Johnny Cash's house, where they filmed the video,
Right.
the movie.
The movie,
This-
yeah.
They represented that house every now and then. And so yeah, it was kind
A
of
lot of Nashville stars have a house
Yeah.
out on the lake.
yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy too because it's not very far from the city.
No,
it's only like
no.
35, 40 minutes from
Yeah,
the
it
city.
wasn't very far. Matter of fact, we stayed in just outside Nashville, and then we drove in every day to Old Hickory. But it was a little scary on the boat driving.
Yeah, I've only fished that one time. I went down there for a classic in some tournament trail, and it was pre-GPS day.
Yeah.
It was really scary. You just didn't make the same kind of runs.
No.
Dude, I get so turned around on this lake if
Yeah.
it would have been 20 years ago without GPS.
Oh, yeah.
Table Rock's even worse.
Yeah. You know, Bull Shoals, man.
Oh,
that
you
thing's
can
a
get
monster.
so lost
That's
out
a
there.
monster.
If you didn't have GPS, you'd be so...
Oh, yeah.
The guys that used to run it back before that are... Hats off, man.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. How they made their way back, I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's because Bull Shoals is a monster.
You could be out there crying for your mama.
Oh,
really
yeah.
easy.
Oh,
Bull
yeah.
Shoals.
It's a monster. Because when
And there's nobody out there. That's the other thing.
No, it's
You just
empty.
hear there's houses.
No.
Out there, there's nothing. It's
Yeah.
like you're just...
Can't ask for help.
No. You might not want the help you get.
I've got a pretty mouth.
Exactly. But a ding, and maybe.
Yeah. See, we always fish Bull Shoals in K-Dog, Tucker, and that upper and up in the river. And so I know that real well. But you get down to the dam, and once you start heading up, man, there's a lot of area to
Oh my God.
so
Yeah, I mean, it's just like every little creek that branches off goes
3 or 4 miles.
3 or 4 miles,
Yeah.
5 miles, 10
Yeah.
miles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they go almost.
I was telling Gabe, he didn't know this, but like Lake of the Ozarks, more miles,
Shoreline.
more miles of shoreline than the state of Florida.
Really?
It's like,
I didn't know that.
stop and think about it.
Yeah.
94 miles, dam to dam.
Yeah.
You got the Gravois, the Glaze, the Little Niagara, the Big Niagara, multiple creeks, and
Oh, yeah.
all of them got
Big-
shoreline.
Oh, yeah.
There's a bunch of shoreline here.
Oh, yeah, and then big creeks, too. And
Oh,
the
big
creeks are
creeks.
Way back. So,
Yeah, mile, 2 miles, and then you got
Yeah.
the Gravois that's whatever, 12, 13 miles. The
Oh.
Glaze is what, 6, 7, 8 miles, and Niagara's even more, and the Big Niagara's even
Yeah.
more than that.
You know what fit? Like I've heard 50,000 docks. You heard that number?
That's probably sounds low.
I heard
and I was
that.
going to say, I
Okay.
figured more.
That might have been okay.
Sounds low.
I figured
That
more.
might be an old number then.
I mean, only because I've been here.
Yeah, I love
That might be right on, but I mean, that's
Yeah.
so much.
I'd say
More, huh?
Goodness, yeah. Now, I love watching when I'm up here fishing the crappie guys and their slingshot. And those.
Slingshot.
Yeah, I love watching them shoot those crappie jigs under there. I mean, I'm like, golly, that's great. I mean, for bass fishing, if you could do that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and just let it shoot under there,
Yeah.
that'd be awesome.
They got those little clips, like slingshot clips or something that hold the bend of the hook. I don't know what they call
Oh,
them.
really? I
Yeah.
haven't seen these.
Really?
Yeah, it's something that came out a couple years ago. It's
Yeah.
just a little tool
Well,
that
say I
they
would
use.
lose 1,000 jigs doing that.
Yeah.
But I'll probably do that anyway. But,
That's what's weird too, man. Me and Gabe have talked about this. You ever had days where you went out and lost 10 jigs, and went days where you fished
the same jigs.
same jigs all
Same
day?
jig.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
for 2 or 3 trips.
Retied it 10
Even
Yeah.
on the
times.
same stretch.
Yeah,
That happens.
right.
You know, one day, and there's a stretch on Cedar Lake where this has happened to me multiple times in the last year, and the water level has been a little bit different each time, but it almost seems like when the water level's a little bit different, it's either snaggier or less snaggy, and I don't know why.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense, but you could be 2 inches off on the cast and not
Right.
get snagged, and then,
Right.
you know, it's just a
Yeah.
happenstance,
Oh yeah.
but it's frustrating.
I've had that down here at the Big Bass Bash. So this is funny. I was up the Little Niagara, and I had just broken off a jig. I'd broken off so many jigs that day. I was just getting frustrated. I hadn't caught crap. Caught a couple small ones, and I just broken off and retied. You know how it is. You retie.
Right.
You put the trailer back on. You re-dye the tips.
Yeah.
And I get up on my first cast, and it just buries, and I'm hung up.
Yeah.
I was so
Yeah.
ticked. I was like, threw the trolling motor on higher. I ran over there, got to the other side, and jerked out. And when I did, it came loose. Ooh, ooh.
There you go.
know, I basically just pinned her up against the,
Yeah.
and ended up getting like an $850 check out of
Oh.
my fish, like a 6'4",
Awesome.
6'5".
Really?
Yeah. It was funny because there's some guys crappie fishing on the other side of the cove, and they was like, "Are you?" Because I got in the boat and I screamed and hollered. And they were like,
No, I
"Are you in a
didn't.
tournament?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm in the Big Bash Bass." And he was like, "How much to be your partner? Because it looks like you're gonna cash a check." Kind of thing, you know. It's like, but it's funny how stuff like that happens. You're super frustrated, and then
Oh yeah.
1 minute you're frustrated, the next minute you're like, I just made $850.
Last year we were fishing anglers in action in Table Rock. My buddy calls me, and I'm leaving my house, and I'm not early, I'm not late. He's like, "Hey man, I just hit a deer," and he said, I said, "Oh gosh," and he said, "No, we're okay." He said, "I'm heading down," and so when I meet him, we meet in the parking lot there at Walmart to get our stuff together, and another buddy of ours was there, and so they got his truck hooked up to his bumper, pulling it away because he couldn't turn his truck very far. The bumper was digging into the tire, so they got his truck and they're pulling the bumper out. So the whole day's starting off really good. This is 5 in the morning. So then we're fishing around and things aren't going right, and I get hung up, and I got the pole with the little squirrel on the end, and I'm doing that, and the wind blows and it pulls the pole out of my hand. We lose the pole. So we're really having a bad day. At 10 in the morning, we're frustrated. My buddy's really frustrated. So we pull up patrolman and we go to a different spot. Immediately I catch a 5-pounder. He catches a 4.5. He catches another 3.5. All of a sudden we got 19 pounds like that. Hey, we aren't feeling no pain at that point.
That's awesome, man.
So that's the way it happens.
Oh yeah. So a bad day went to, okay, this is good, just like that.
Yeah.
I like when you're when you get hung up and a fish pops your bait off of whatever you're hung up on. That's happened to me quite a few times.
Yeah.
Like you're hung up with your jig, and all of a sudden you feel another thump.
Yep, you betcha.
And the next thing you know, it takes off.
Yeah.
You betcha.
That's awesome.
It's like you're trying to get it loose, and it's like, hey,
still flicking. You betcha.
Yep.
Like I always say, if bass grew to be 100 pounds, he would not be safe to swim.
I do a
They
lot
would
of,
try to eat you.
every year in the spring I do conservation where they shock the fish, and I'm one of the net guys. I help just so I can see what's going on. And we never shock up a bunch of big fish. We may have a couple of 5 or 6 pounders. That's about it. Just 1 or 2, and lots of keepers and what have you. So we're having to be 12 feet or less.
Is this a Table Rock? Or?
It's on Table Rock.
Okay.
Yeah, all different areas of the lake. But so my buddy that's done this for years and got me in on this. He's one of the head conservation guys down there in the area. He said, we don't shock up a lot of big fish. So he said they're very rarely are the big fish up shy. Because we're at night. We're doing it at night after dark. Once it's dark, that's when we go, and the water has to be 60 degrees or in the spawning time frame when they're moving up. And so I'm like, man, a lot of the bigger fish are deeper, and I'm not a good deep water fisherman. I'm a better shallow water fisherman in my head. But a lot of those better fish are deep.
Yeah.
Not 90% of the time they're deeper than what I'm fishing.
There are places where I say this all the time, like at this lake in particular. There's giant bass that outside of the spawn, when they move into spawn, your chances of catching them are pretty freaking slim.
Right.
Because they stay
Small
up under
windows.
those big commercial docks under 48-foot yachts.
Yeah.
And it's just hard to get a bait in front of them.
Oh yeah.
They're smart, and they have no reason to come
That's
out
why
of it.
they're big.
If you lay back up in one of those big commercial docks, you've got all the bluegill and crawdads and gizzard shad you need. There's no sense in coming out and exposing yourself to getting caught.
That's right.
Well, that's why the A-rig was so deadly there. It was catching those fish that were, if you could fish
couldn't
A-rig
get
like
to.
20, 25 feet
Yeah,
deep.
yeah.
And you're covering tons of water all the time.
Right.
Multiple casts, tons of
Well,
water.
where we idled at the end of the day today,
Yep.
those are, people don't fish for those, and those are very catchable fish.
Yep.
I catch them there when the water's warm enough to swim with. I like to swim a 3/4 ounce jig as fast as I can down the dock and then kill it at the end.
Yeah,
And you can just see them come out and smoke it.
yeah.
And where we were fishing today, you can't obviously this time of year burn a 3/4 ounce football jig and expect them to chase it.
Yeah.
But they're still there.
Yeah.
I
It
think-
just takes a lot longer to fish that deep water.
It takes
20
patience.
feet, 20, 25 feet sounds really deep, but that's
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 the length
the length of your boat.
5
That's
feet
it.
longer than your
Yeah.
boat.
It's your boat.
5 feet
It's
longer
not
than your
that
boat. That's all it is.
Yeah.
but
You're
it
right.
just seems so deep as
In your
bass
head, it
fishermen.
seems really,
Yeah.
You're right. So,
Yeah, 25 feet is not deep.
so I was
I mean,
fishing.
it's all relative, right? Depends on where you're at. If you're where we grew up,
Table Rock is certainly
it's,
not deep.
yeah, no, it's not
No.
even beginning to be deep.
So when you were talking about, killing that jig, so I fished one of Webb's Central Pro-Ams, and then the first day I'm in second place, and he even called me and said, hey, tomorrow come in last, have the black bag, and let's play this up for the deal. So I zeroed the next day.
Oh.
No, I had one. But the guy I drew, he zeroed the first day. And I'm like, oh goodness, I'm in trouble. And he said, I'm going to a completely different area than me. So he comes in with 18 pounds the next day when I'm with him, and he ends up cashing a check after zeroing on the pro side. And he was swimming a jig, and so he'd swim down that dock and he'd kill it. And I could see, it was right at my feet because he's moving around the dock. And I could see these fish come out and just smoke that jig. And I got hung up on a stump. We go up there and I get it off. And he drops that jig right below his feet, and a 4-pounder grabs it, right there.
Yeah.
And the stump right where I could see him. So, it was his day. He absolutely.
Oh, when's your day? It's your day.
Oh, he could do nothing wrong.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I've
I loved watching it.
I've had a tournament one time on Smithland Pool, which is the Ohio River, and basically you
Yeah.
got the Ohio River, and then you just got these creeks that shoot back in there, and you got the creek channel, and then you got these stump flats that are. Have you ever fished the Ohio River?
I have.
Okay, so you got a creek channel that's like 15, 20 feet deep, and then there's flats that are like 3 foot deep,
Right.
and they've got stumps.
Yeah.
Okay, so my buddy got hung up in like 1.5 foot of water, and we go in on the trolling motor to get it, and it's real stained. I mean, it's probably like a foot visibility, maybe 6 inches.
Yeah.
So we're jerking on this jig to get it loose, or I'm jerking. He got hung up. Yeah, I got hung up. Okay, so I'm trying to get my bait free, and we're spinning the trolling motor to keep us from going to the bank. There's prop wash going everywhere.
Yeah.
And I get it loose, and he throws a crankbait right in all that leaves and everything, and catches like a 4-pounder.
Oh man.
That fish was sitting like feeding on what we were distributing towards him.
Well,
It's crazy.
Oh wow.
They're curious.
Oh, yeah.
Curious,
Oh, yeah. Well, divers always say that, they'll go down and bang rocks and man, fish will come, just to see.
Yeah, I
what's
was at
going on.
I did that Bass University with my son, and Zone was talking about when he was a kid, like 18, 19, 20 years old, whatever, and they had a lake house up on I think it was Lake Michigan. But he would get in the docks and put on a snorkel and a mask and get in there and watch how bass would react when he was dipping that jig, and he'd bang it off that metal, and it would get their attention, and they'd
would
come
look.
and look. Yeah.
Huh.
And he said he was actually catching fish.
Yeah.
Like he was in the water and his hand was out of the water, and
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Just like
just making
bats.
noise. They'll come looking.
They come looking. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Well, I always think Greg's dock's loaded with rocks and brush and everything else we put on it. But if you think about it, if you're the 5-pounder in that area, you're the king.
Right.
And when something dings on there, you're like, who's in my house?
What's going on?
Right.
Who's in my
Territorial.
house?
Yep.
Who's in
You
my house?
betcha. Territorial.
house?
You betcha.
I really believe that. Maybe not so much this time of year when the water's cold. They're not going to cruise to the front of the dock to see what's going on. But give it 3-4 weeks and the water starts warming up. They're definitely protective of what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got so many fish banging the crossbar
Right.
as it's coming out. Ding, ding. And then flip it over hard and let it sink. And boom.
Well, I've done that at the gravel worked on a spinnerbait actually. Those rails that come down.
Yeah.
Just throw it up and bring it over those center bars. Bam, they'll come hit it.
Table rock, just the cables that come down on the big commercial docks. I've caught so many fish off those cables.
Oh yeah.
And it's also hazardous because you get hung.
Yeah, you lose all that stuff.
Yeah, I lost a hay rig last week with that one of those cables. I didn't even realize what was going on because they're pretty far out.
Yeah.
They come kind of at an angle, and I kept getting.
Some of them are really screwy too.
They're all different. That's the thing. They're all different.
So this was in Ants Creek.
Ants Creek.
Yeah. And some of those come out really, really far. The cables.
Did you in Ants Creek? Did you guys go way to the back?
Me and him did. Man, there were gulls and shad.
Right,
everywhere.
right.
It was
Man, you're
nuts.
competing with that much bait. What do you think about that? There's that much bait. It's so hard to compete with it.
Well, 2 weeks before, we'd been back there, and the bait were there, and they were busting shad. There were some schooling fish.
You
back
told me
there.
that they were schooling this time. Yeah.
And so, I wasn't in the boat that did this, but they were throwing an underspin. They'd see those fish bust out in the middle, throw an underspin in, and they caught 2 really good ones in a smaller tournament. And but they were 4-pound class fish, great fish.
Right.
And then they ended up filling out their limit with the rest of them, just throwing an A-rig around the bank. There was so much bait around there, so there was fish there.
Right.
That 2 weeks later, my buddy he had kind of found those fish and went back and kind of got burned. They had a small limit, but the limit was 10 pounds, so they didn't have the good quality there.
Right.
But they got really fortunate catching those ones out in the middle that were chasing. That was pretty lucky.
Right.
So that area had been picked through pretty good.
Oh yeah, it had been hit really hard.
Yeah.
It's crazy about Table Rock is some of those narrow, like what we fished in the back of Mill Creek there, those narrow, deep, they love to get in them gut.
Right in the gut. Right in the gut. You betcha.
And a lot of people don't fish for them there, but and I like it when it's warm enough. I can throw that big football jig there and just drag it through there.
You betcha. You bet. Well, I've seen you do that in Mill Creek.
Oh yeah,
before,
yeah. It's probably my favorite way to. I love catching fish on a football jig out deep.
Yeah.
When I say deep, I mean 15 to 25.
Yeah. So we do that in
even 30. They were up 30.
Probably the next couple of weeks we'll start fishing on Wednesday nights, right around the dam. Branson Bell and all that stuff, and just throw a jig. It'd be nothing but a football jig. We'll keep the boat.
You fish those islands?
Some.
I've never really fished them. I see people fishing them. Every time I go by, somebody's on it, so I don't do it.
We'll catch a few there, but really we don't catch the better quality there. We'll catch a few little ones, but just those little pea gravel points and cuts and things. And so we'll put in a state park and we'll go to the Branson Bell and we'll drop a trolling motor, and for 3 or 4 hours we won't even start the big motor. Just kind of go down through there and catch big smallmouth. It's at night, about 7:30 they start munching a little bit, and we've had so much fun in the last 3 or 4 years, just doing that every Wednesday night, and we'll do it clear through summertime, and man, it's a lot of fun. Just dragging that.
Where do the smallmouth go there in the summertime? It seems that when I'm down there, it seems like they disappear.
They'll go a little deep, and you don't catch many. You'll catch some on top water in the morning,
right?
And then they're just kind of disappear. So I don't know.
They're like a cat. They're like,
yeah, probably so.
Here you go.
But and it's funny. We'll start early, so I'll get off work early, and we'll go meet my buddy, and we'll start at 5:30, 6 o'clock. We still don't catch them until 7:30. From 7:30 to 10, we have a ball, and just catch them at will. But we try to go do different things, but just seems.
It's got to be like down there, summertime, full moon nights. It got to be out of sight.
Oh, it's fun. It's a ball, man. And
I've never been down there.
Throw nothing but a football jig. That's all we do is throw a football jig. Now, last year we did start throwing a Carolina rig a little bit, and it would actually worked a little better. But I still like catching on jig, that football jig.
No spinnerbaits, just.
Well. When we do that we'll do that in Cape Fair.
Are you throwing that Carolina rig around freaking timber? Or,
no.
Because that's just a recipe for just frustration.
No, we fish just pea gravel points and pea gravel cuts.
Nice.
And, pea gravel banks, and there's some stuff down there, but not a ton. Some brush piles and things. But no, the spinnerbait, we'll throw that black spinnerbait. Up around Cape Fair, we'll go downriver, towards the main lake from Cape Fair, and there's some banks in there. You can just throw a spinnerbait and just catch one after the other, which blows my mind. I'll be honest. Throwing a spinnerbait at 9, I'm like, man, it doesn't seem right to me. Just throwing a spinnerbait in tournaments and stuff, but man, they'll eat it up. And we do night tournaments. That's when we do that. Cape Fair runs some night tournaments. And
they're going off that vibration. Right?
Yeah, and it's fun. It's a ball.
I've heard guys swear that there's nights when a black with red in the skirt will outproduce a straight black, or a black with blue. Yeah. I don't know how. I don't know if it's the guy on the front is working it slightly different than the guy that's got the straight black, or.
I've thrown them both. To me, I don't really notice any difference. Yeah. The ones I like are the straight black with the big Colorado black blade, and that's the one I like. It's a War Eagle, I love that.
So why not go with a black blade with a little bit of red in the middle? I forget what company it was that years ago.
Jewel made one.
Yeah,
Jewel.
Black with a red like deal in the middle, like almost like the diamond tape or the prismy tape.
You just wouldn't think it's dark.
Oh yeah, I mean it's pitch black out there.
They don't see like us. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fun. That night fishing's fun.
And we're probably all stupid. It's probably just the flump.
Yeah.
That big blade.
It's
That
the
does.
tree, but
My last summer, my buddy camped down there at Hideaway with his family, and so we went and fished James River, and we pulled up. It was not too far from Cape Fear, and I had some big El Salto worms, what we call them. They were a Jean LaRue worm, and they were black. We had an electric blue tail, and I caught about 10 in a row, throwing the same cast. And they weren't all keepers, but I mean, you know, he get 10 bites in a row.
That's good.
It was a ball. And my buddy wasn't catching them, and he was throwing a different kind of worm. And he was staying down there a couple more days, and I only had 3 or 4 more. I was like, here, take these, you know, and just, you know, see what you can do. But they liked that black worm with an electric blue tail, but it was a big one. It was a 12, maybe even 13-inch one.
That was an old Red Lake thing in the early '80s. Was the black worm with the blue, bright blue gator tail.
yeah, and the fire tail was big too back in the 80s.
Yeah.
That hot pink kind of fire tail.
But see, they don't make that exact same one anymore.
It's funny how we quit
Orson
using
is-
stuff, right?
Right.
That really works.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
my best friend's dad gave that
I used to
me.
catch them on a tube all the time, and I just kind of quit throwing the
Hey,
tube.
I throw a tube nonstop. I love
Yeah,
it.
I
I got
love
one
it.
tied on for tomorrow. It's a red neon or a black
I love
neon.
throwing a tube in dirty
Confidence,
water
man.
with a rattle in it, man. Like when I used to fish the river, that tube with a rattle in it,
Mhm.
black and blue tube. Oh my God! Just,
Well, when I drew Mark Tucker, we ran away at the
Stroking.
river. This was 2 years ago in the BFL. And I ran through a whole package of tubes. I'm like, hey, do you have any black and red tubes? And he said, yeah, I might. And he's digging around. And he threw a huge bag of black and red tubes back there. And I said, thanks,
I might.
man. Yeah. And so he was really cool. And when we got done that day, he said, hey, can I have those tubes back? I may need them later. You know? So, yeah, sure. But he was really cool. I mean, he used, shoot, I probably used 5 or 6 at least. But I ran through a whole bag. I wasn't expecting to have that much.
Denny Breyer kind of opened that tube up years
Yeah, him
ago.
and
The
Guido.
black
Him and
neon.
Guido.
Yeah. Well, Guido was first, but then the big black neon.
Guido was
tube.
kind of more of a, I guess, kind of deeper finessing.
Right.
And Denny was flipping that thing like a Texas rig.
Yeah.
Well, then there's the gets it, you know.
Yeah,
it
gets
is,
it.
yeah.
Yep.
Now, Dave Barker's the one that got me on that black neon red. I was going to Truman, and
Was he not just a stud?
oh yeah, he's a good friend. I still see him a lot.
Man, that
And
guy
I
was such a stick.
I was so fortunate to travel with him. In fact, the first time I fished with him, I traveled with him up here, and so we're pre-fishing, and we run up, not quite to Hurricane Deck, and start throwing wigglewort. Okay, it's springtime. This is the wigglewort man, and so we're fishing
He is the
wigglewort.
wigglewort man.
We fished for about 2 hours, and we've got 2 fish that big. And I'm like, man, this is the wigglewort man, and this isn't working. And so we fished around there, and we changed spots. And he told me, as soon as we pulled up there, he was dropping the trolling motor, and he was 70-something years old then. And he said, if I was going to start a tournament up here, this is where I start, and this is what I do. And he picked up a spinnerbait, and he's got 5 keepers within 60 yards, 80 yards. And I'm tying on a spinnerbait. I can't even tie it on fast enough. The funny thing was, he'd catch me. He didn't set the hook. He just kind of held him down. He reeled him in. And after the 5th one, you know,
Like he was practicing, like
yeah.
I see him.
Well, and I tied on a spinnerbait, and I cast out there, and I caught a 5-pounder. And he said, see, I caught 5, but you caught the important fish. And I said, Dave, you don't ever set the hook. What's the deal? And he said, I'm trying to not show you what I'm doing, you know. And so we had a great day.
Spoken like a true pro.
Oh yeah, he said, I'm just trying to hide what I'm doing. And but man, we had a lot of fun that day. And
Usually you're trying to shake off fish to the guy that's in the other boat. He's trying to
Yeah.
shake off fish to the guy that's in the back of the boat.
And,
That's
you know, he
funny.
wasn't trying to shake him off. Well, and I was fishing with him at Table Rock, and he caught a 7-pounder on a square bill. And I said, man, I bet you wish you had that tomorrow. He said, I catch him. He said, you never know, this is a state record. He didn't shake them off. Dave didn't shake them off. He lost a really big one, broke him off on a football jig. And I said, Dave, you know, you're sticking these fish. And he said, you never know if this is a state record. And he said, I'm going to catch them.
Man, that's crazy.
So yeah, so he's old school, and he was fun. I learned a lot.
That's such a fine line, man, when you're practicing, whether you want to catch them. Like today, the two main areas I want to go fish, we didn't throw bait in the water.
Yeah. Well, and
I'm gonna go fishing tomorrow.
When I fish with him, we pre-fish. That's not where he went and started. You know, we would try these areas out, but he went somewhere else. You know, so he was doing areas that he was just checking out, but he had something else in mind already.
Right.
You know, and so
That was like a plan.
yeah, exactly.
So you living down at Table Rock, how often do you go fish something you've never been in before?
Unfortunately, not enough.
That's my goal down here. Every time I come down here, I go fish somewhere I've never been before.
Well, so BFL on Table Rock. I zeroed. I came home just feeling terrible. My buddy called me and said, hey, let's go in the mornings. All right. So we go. And he said, we're not going to fish. And he'd been catching them good. And he and I had been catching them good. He said, we're not going to go fish those areas. And I'm like, let's go have some fun. Because he didn't have a tournament for 3 weeks. And so we go to one spot. And we fish, and I catch a 4.5. And he said, let's get out of here. And I'm like, man, you don't have a tournament for 3 weeks. Let's have some fun.
Catch him.
Yeah, that's what I said. And he said, I want to find something that resembles this. I want to build on what we've already got, you know. And so we did fish a little bit more because I goaded him into it.
He was trying to put a pattern together.
Yeah, and so after that, we did. And we went to all these areas that he hadn't fished. And we could pretty much call our shot, you know. We were going to catch them here, and we did. And it was a ton of fun. Matter of fact, he called his wife and said, "Hey, we're going to fish a little longer." It took us 4 hours to find them because we fished a lot of stuff that didn't work out.
Yeah.
And my wife called me and said, "Are you coming home tonight?"
Maybe.
So we got home about dark, but you know, he never likes to just pound those fish, even if he doesn't have a tournament coming up, but I do. I like to. If I'm fun fishing, I want to go have fun.
I want to smoke them.
Yeah. So, but he had the right idea because you know he went and got second in the USA Bass, and 2 weeks later, something he just picked up later, and so So he probably had the right idea.
Yeah, it's like when me and Greg were that tournament I won right before the web thing. He was like, "Dude, you got a tournament here next weekend. Let's leave." I'm like, I don't know that we'll be here next week.
Right. Yeah.
Let's smoke them, dude.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can do off of this. You know, we got like 23 pounds, but it's like in the Ozarks. We may not still win. Let's get 25 pounds.
Right. That's right.
You know, so, I mean, I didn't think they'd be there a week later.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. Well, that's Cheyenne now we're up here. And I can't remember what we put in Brown Bend, I think. And we found one point, and we just sat there and pounded them. You know, we had a great time. He's like, I'm not going to run all the way up here, you know, for these fish. And so we had a great time. And he ended up fishing around the Glaze that day. And he had a good one and got a check. But, you know, and I like to catch them.
I just I
like to catch them.
I mean,
you know, especially if you're not going to go back there.
If you're in a tournament, like I said, and they're biting, let's just keep. I mean, I knew I had the tournament that was more important to me than the one we were in.
Yeah.
I didn't give a crap. I just wanted to catch fish. I didn't know they would still be there next weekend.
Right. And there's so many days where it's so hard
to get a bite.
To get that.
Yeah.
And then when you finally get that day, you're like, man, I've been working a long time for this.
Let's enjoy the moment.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, we were in Stockton for it's an Anglers in Action, and so we're catching them on a whopper popper, and I mean we're smoking them. There was a bunch of fish up schooling, and we caught them, and my buddy said, "Hey, we need to leave." And I said, "Yeah, I think because we had to fish the next day." Next day we didn't catch a fish off that area. You know, not one fish.
Right.
You know, so we left them biting, and then we come back and nothing. They were gone. And we caught a few a different area, but it actually didn't end up. We ended up just out of the money. So if we may have cold up there, it may have carried us a little further the next day. But you know, I understood, and I was fully on game with that one. You know, the next day. Let's come right back to this area. We came back and we fished the crap out of that area. Didn't work out.
My downfall is like when that happens, it's like, you sons of bitches, you're somewhere close.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find you.
Yeah.
I keep hunting and pecking. I'm like, you can't have went far.
Yeah.
You didn't go to the dam.
Right.
You're still somewhere close by.
Yeah, but they
you
were
on this ledge,
active
or
at
you on
that
that
point. Man, you better feed on that.
Yeah.
Right.
Even if it's a 2-day tournament, you know, I think, man, you get the biggest limit you can get, and hope they're there the next day.
Yeah,
I learned that lesson. But if we'd have come back there the next day and caught another good solid limit, we've been way up there.
That's funny you say that. Like, I was at Dardanelle one year and I was like, I don't know, like 3rd or 4th in the championship of that solo pro series. And I don't fish at that time. I hadn't fished a lot of multi-day events. And I went to Marcus and I was like, hey man, I was like a little kid. I'm like, hey man, I ain't fished a lot of multi-day tournaments. What do I do? I'm catching fish up here. He's like, go back there and catch them tomorrow, dude.
Yeah.
Go back. Don't just go back there and see what happens. And if it doesn't happen, then move. But you go back there tomorrow. If you were catching them there today, go back there tomorrow and see what happens.
Yeah.
You know? And if you're not catching, you know, maybe
Adjust.
you might have to adjust.
Yeah.
You know, but that's why I like the multi-day events. I really do.
Yeah. Well, that's why I've struggled though. In multi-day events, I've struggled because I'm always out the back of the boat.
That's
It takes me a completely different
That's a whole
direction.
different ballgame.
Oh yeah,
a whole different ballgame.
So you're fishing from one even water column to a different water column. And you know, I drew a guy that was catching them really good on the second day, but it wasn't something I'd been doing, and so I struggled big time.
Yeah.
And it really hurt.
Yeah, the back of the boat's a whole different ballgame.
It's hard to just flip a switch and go to something, you know, say you're pitching cover, shallow cover one day, and then the next day you get a guy and he's fishing a swim bait or something out in 15, 20 foot of water.
Yeah.
It's hard to just switch.
Oh yeah, because mindset's not there.
Right.
I know I was catching them here, I know I was catching them here, but yeah, it's tough. It's really tough.
I'm gonna get to bed, man. It's time for me.
Yeah, me too.
So, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Got some really good footage here. This is Matt, Mike, and 10 Horse Monty, and that's whatever that is. Leave some comments, man. Let us know what you're thinking. We're out here. We got a BFL in the morning. Matt's fishing as a co. Mike's a boater. I'm gonna be fishing out the back of the boat as well.
Greg is sleeping in that room.
Yeah, Greg's in there. We had two other people in here earlier, and it was real rowdy, and we were telling all kinds of stories. But we hope you guys appreciate all this information that we let out there. And like I said, leave some comments. Let us know. And until next time.